Hey Jeff, nice job. Yeah, your images look really clear and clean, and everything is labeled. It looks really good so far. Let's see here, computer critter. Okay, so just a few suggestions. And just some information. When you start, if you're going to do a screen, be sure to put some image on the screen, or create a face out of computer parts, or you could put something like computer like a face or something. I'll show you some examples in a second. So batteries, tablet, earbuds. I like your objects, but this one, they don't seem to integrate as well. I really like the batteries. So, I like a lot of these objects. So you can also feel free to, mix and match. You can take some of these objects and put them with other objects and other sketches. That's perfectly fine. And once you get the images, and I suggest photographing more than you need, because it's always better to have more, and then you can move them around, and once they're in Photoshop, you can pick and choose. Let's see. I really like the idea of the outlet, but I'm not seeing this one as working cohesively. And also, it's not, there's 1, 2, I don't know, game just 3, maybe 5, but these really aren't considered, objects, the outlet. So I personally, I really like what you're doing with the disc and so on and the outlet, but I don't see this as a caricature as yet. So maybe maybe you could work with some other images. It's also really good to use a variety of images. There's so many different kinds of cables too. You can just do a Google image search on cables, and you can find tons of stuff. Power cord. I'm not sure what this is down here. This is the VCR. TV stand. Basically, you wouldn't use a TV for the computer, but it could just be a computer monitor. That's probably what you're trying to kind of mean. Again, this one's interesting, though it doesn't seem to function as a caricature as much as some of the other ones. But again, some really interesting images. So I would do, one thing I would suggest, in Google, you can do a Google image search for ideas, and again, you can see a lot of different ideas for computer parts. There's also all the parts that relate to the inside, like the RAM and the motherboards, and the soldered circuit boards, etc. Again, I know these images are small, but I always suggest having a look at Google Images, because it's just a good way to get some ideas. Some RAM, etc. Another one you can do, like cables. If you do a search for computer cables, you end up getting a lot of really cool different kinds of cables. So that's another thing to do. This is all just research, and in the design industry, you would do everyone does a ton of research before they actually go into any kind of software. So I just wanted to show you some past student work, and what I really want you to see is it makes a much more interesting design if you photograph or you gather the images in more than one, more in that head-on one point perspective. I know, students seem to draw everything head-on, like at first, but if you think, and it's fine for your sketches, but if you really think of like this is actually 3-point perspective, because you see 3 sides, this side, and this side. I don't like the text and stuff, but again, it really shows some depth. Here's another one that came out really good, and again, look at the side view, and look at the use of perspective. And when I say that, I mean, this object that's further away is smaller. And that's the main way you create depth, is with scale. So again, things in the background are going to look like they're further away. You can see the leaf here. This text isn't very good. But again, this is kind of where these are going. Oh, and this is what I was going to show you. You know, see, this is kind of like a, like a 3D modeled looking face. You could, do something like that on the, and again, we're going to be doing backgrounds later. She created this background, but note the use of perspective here. Smaller, leg and foot in the background. And again, you can see that it has depth because we're seeing more than one side. Same here. He messed this up with all this text. It really took away from it. But again, really cool images for this toy thing. And again, it's just more, it's more animated and it has more depth when it's, when you see more than one side. Again, this is kind of flat Game Boy, but again, he's showing the sides. And again, notice how smaller the back wheel is, and this cable and controller's smaller. And this is a kind of a cool thing you can do. This is a Photoshop filter that I can show you later on. Again, it's got some direction because it's not just head-on. Same here with, back legs smaller. This one too. This has got way more than 5 objects, but again, they added some of these little elements to create unity. This one came out really pretty cool. You can see how they use perspective with the angle. Kind of, it's kind of getting crazy with this. But I think it really works. It's, again, the repetition of all these different kinds of cables, these little round pieces. The background's not super great, but it works. This one's a little overdone, but again, look at the use of perspective, really looking down. So we're seeing 3 sides, the top side, the front, and the side. And again, it really works as an integral caricature. This one too, he worked really hard on this one. And some of the parts are kind of hard to see. This is always the hardest one, is the garbage dump one. But again, it looks like it all fits together. And I really love this one too. And notice the pixelation for this face here. He could have put something else too. I mean, just use your creativity. He could have done more with the, getting these correct. And I can show you how to do that later. But again, really, really effective background. The text looks nice. It definitely looks like a caricature. It looks like something that, it moves around. This one's okay. No, these aren't. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I didn't copy all of them. So anyway, I hope this helps. And yeah, just let me know if you have any questions. But your sketches look really good. You can continue to modify them. Next week, we're going to be collecting the images. And it's okay to get some online, but you definitely want to try to photograph some yourself. So think of these angles here. Really think of when you get your images, just think of some of the angles and think of how you could create depth and what angle you have to look for here. And again, it needs to be consistent, with, we're seeing all these sides kind of are consistent. Okay, so anyway, nice job.